Chapter 4. Taoist Master. Is my son all right? Su Xiao had asked the same question for the umpteenth time. How was this still the decisive Su Zhuge on the battlefield? He was clearly a father who spoiled his son to the point of absurdity. He's fine. His Royal Highness is just tired from the long journey. After sleeping for half a day and recuperating for half a month, he will be full of energy again. The old Taoist priest said confidently, but he felt a pang of pain. When the prince saw how thin his son was, he immediately ordered the housekeeper to bring out several furnaces of top-grade elixirs from Mount Wudong and the treasured tribute medicine. He wanted to pour all of them into his son's mouth. Heavenly Master Zhao looked at him with fear and trepidation. He talked for a long time about the principle that medicine was half poison and half medicine. Moreover, he had the selfish intention of competing with Mount Wudong. He personally took out the small Jindan of Mount Longhu, which was a waste of talent. Only then did he dispel the prince's worries. Crown Prince Su Fengnian slept for 2 days and 2 nights before waking up. His younger brother Su Longxiang did not eat or drink for 2 days and 2 nights. When the servants went to report the good news to de Zhuge, he hurried over to visit him. He saw his son pick up the Xuanda burner at the head of the bed and smash it at him. He jumped off the bed and cursed. "Su Xiao, you bastard. You chased me out of the prince's mansion for 3 years. No wonder you always say I'm not your biological son." Su Xiao tilted his head and dodged the burner, apologizing with a calm face. But how could Su Fengnian let go of the main culprit who had caused him to eat and sleep in the open for 3 years? After smashing everything in the room that could be smashed, he chased him all the way out of the room. When he saw a broom lying in the corner of the corridor, he picked it up and chased after it. The poor de Zhuge didn't forget to remind him, "Put on your shoes, put on your shoes. It's cold, don't catch a cold." There was a chase in the courtyard, and it was very lively. The few people who walked out of the prince's mansion, who were more popular than the governor, all put their hands in their sleeves and looked up at the sky. They didn't hear anything and didn't see anything. Su Fengnian was exhausted after all. After chasing and hitting for a while, he began to pant. He bent over and glared at his father. Su Xiao stood far away and smiled apologetically. "Have you calmed down? If you're not angry anymore, eat first. You can only vent your anger when you have the strength." The little prince, Su Longxiang, and the servant, old Huang, were sitting on the threshold of the door. The two of them were grinning from ear to ear. One of them was drooling, and the other was missing his front teeth. They were both quite silly. His Royal Highness was panting heavily. He pointed at the king of Bailiang, Su Xiao, who was high and mighty in the eyes of outsiders. "Mother Fastress Kerr, I'll let you off today. Just you wait." Su Xiao wasn't angry. He chuckled and said, Okay. Father will wait. I'll definitely not fight back when you hit me or scold me. I'll let you vent your anger." Su Fengnian, who was still barefooted, threw away the broom that could be sold for dozens of taels of silver. When he came to the door, he saw his younger brother smiling foolishly. His gaze softened a bit. Seeing that his brother's saliva was flowing all over his chest, Su Fengnian didn't mind that it was dirty. He very naturally reached out and helped wipe it. He said softly, "Silly Huang man, come. Stand up and let your older brother see if you've grown taller or stronger." The youth stood up in all seriousness. Su Fengnian gestured with his head. He smiled with a bit of disappointment. Not tall, not strong. The youth wrapped his arms around his older brother's waist and lifted him up. Su Fengnian wasn't surprised. His chest was stained with saliva. He laughed loudly. "You've grown quite a bit stronger." De Zhuge stood in place. The butcher, who had spent half his life in the military and killed people like scything flax, actually had tears in his eyes. He quietly turned his head away and muttered to himself, "The wind is so strong. Where did the sand come from?" The two brothers returned to their room together. Su Xiao immediately ordered the servants to bring in the dishes that had been carefully prepared. There were 20 to 30 servants carrying the food boxes. They entered the room one after another like flowing water. Under the kind reminder of the old Taoist from Mount Longhu, most of the dishes were vegetarian and less heavy and spicy. After eating, drinking and sleeping well for 3 days, Su Fengnian went to the most popular place in the estate, the Tide Listening Pavilion. He carried a purple bamboo fishing rod and had his younger brother, Su Longxiang, carry a few embroidered stools. He also had the servants prepare a large long tea table and a variety of rare fruits and delicacies. He even had the housekeeper select 4 or 5 beautiful maidservants in their prime to massage his shoulders and massage his back. This was the comfortable life that His Royal Highness should have. Tide Listening Pavilion. Just by looking at the name, one could understand its meaning. Bailiang Palace sat on the entire Mount Qingliang. The original lake on the mountainside was doubled in size, with the intention of expanding the lake into the sea. They built pavilions, terraces, and pavilions. The tallest pavilion in the center, the 9 stories tall, was named Tide Listening Pavilion. Crown Prince Su Fengyan's hobby was to fish on the first floor. There were tens of thousands of books in the pavilion, including countless rare and unique books. There was no lack of martial arts manuals that had lost their inheritance. 15 years ago, Su Xiao, who had yet to be crowned king of Bailiang, had personally led a cavalry unit, led an imperial edict, and crushed dozens of martial arts sects north and south of the Great River. Other than the orthodox sects like Mount Longhu, which had always been obedient, the unruly Forbidden Villa was directly annihilated. It must be known that 20 years ago, the Forbidden Villa was a first-rate martial arts holy land. In the past 100 years, 4 of the top 10 masters had emerged. In the end, the villa's martial arts manuals, other than a few sets that were given to the inner palace, were all confiscated and stored on the 6th floor of the Tide Listening Pavilion. Fortunately, Su Fengyan's appearance did not resemble his father Su Xiao at all. After leaving his territory, he did not dare to call himself the crown prince of the king of Bailiang. Otherwise, just based on this point alone, it was enough to consign him to eternal damnation. The enemies of the Great Pillar State were as numerous as his disciples. There were 10,000 koi fish in the lake, casually sprinkling bait. It was a marvelous sight of 10,000 koi fish facing the sky. Even the emperor, who had come to avoid the summer heat a few years ago, clicked his tongue in wonder. Su Fengyan lay on the wooden bed covered with gorgeous Sichuan brocade. After fishing for a while, he saw his brother smiling foolishly and drooling again. He reached out to wipe it away. He could not help but think of the white fox face that he had tricked into coming to the cold. That was a beauty whose lips were like crescent moons when she smiled. Su Fengyan had always called her the #1 beauty in the world in private. At first, he boasted that she was the #1 beauty in the world, but after being ruthlessly beaten up until she looked like a pig's head, he settled for the next best thing. Su Fengyan was in a good mood when he thought of this person. He rubbed his brother's head and said with a smile, "I said that I would help you trick a beautiful woman to be your wife, and I really did kidnap one. She had a white fox face. Extremely beautiful. She wore 2 sabers, one embroidered winter, and the other spring thunder. Both were famous sabers in the world. Unfortunately, she was a man.